Hey, it's your girl Nicole from the Risers Hub podcast. I'm here in New Haven, Connecticut. Oh my goodness, watching my youngest daughter graduate from the university. And let me tell you something. Talk about emotions flying everywhere. Last week, we talked to my sister in law about motherhood, and I'm going to continue that conversation, just sharing some experiences that I'm having with my girls and all the feels that I'm having right now watching my youngest one graduate. And it's just been very it's been a very emotional roller coaster. I'm very proud of both of my girls. It has just been very hard to watch my youngest one out of the 2 grow. I've always enjoyed my oldest one hit different milestones, do different things, but I think deep down with my youngest one, very happy to watch her hit milestones, but I think at the same time, and mothers know that this is it. This is the last kid, and there are no more babies, and I have no desire to have any more babies. So, today we're going to be talking a little bit about what has worked for me and how you might be able to implement it into your life. These are all suggestions. Everyone's situation's different, and not every mother is the same. And also knowing that I believe that consistency and stability for these 2 girls were the key to their success. And this is only a portion of their lives, so this is a great portion of their lives. They're experiencing success, they're experiencing wins. As we all know, life goes up and down, and we don't know what life is gonna bring us. And there's a new worry right now that now she's out in the real world, what's gonna happen to my kid? And who's going to treat my kid with dignity and respect and kindness? And so there's just so many things that are swirling in my head. I have to give it to a higher power and allow the universe to take care of my kids in a way that I can't take care of them, and keep meditating and praying about them every day, like I've been doing since the day they were born, and let it go, because there's not much more I can do at this point. And I think that's the hardest part for me, is letting go, and letting go of something that I've had control over for so long. And the past couple of years have been really hard because my youngest one's extremely independent, and I love that about her. She will book a ticket to Timbuktu and have everything planned out, not tell anyone, grab her friends, go on these trips, come back and be like, "Oh yeah, by the way, I was in Timbuktu last week." And you're like, "Wait, what?" And let me tell you something. She started out at TCU and she was the number 1 freshman playing soccer at TCU. And by the 2nd or 3rd year, things weren't working out the way that she had planned it. And she figured out a way to visit a couple schools on her own. And I had no idea she had flown from Texas to Connecticut to go talk to the Yale soccer coach there, and the next thing I know it, she's transferring. That's the kinda kid I have. And she figured out a way to work, play soccer, go to school, and come out of the university with no bills. That's the kinda kid I have. So, I'm very proud of her, and it goes beyond the soccer field, it goes beyond school, just as a human being, it's just she amazes me. And those are the things that I'm really proud of. Yes, they have great accolades behind their names, but when your kids are kind to other people and they're doing the right things and they're trying to do the right thing, you can't beat that. So, today we're gonna talk a little bit about time, community, consistency, and conversation. Welcome to the Risers Hub. So, first of all, let's talk about time. My daughter graduated from Yale University, and she had everything planned out for everyone, and I think she did an excellent job. The event was 3 days. So there was Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. And I didn't lose it until Monday, and it was only for a good 10 minutes. Me and the oldest girl were sitting there talking, and I was reminiscing about kindercare and kindergarten and, you know, how much my youngest one hates school. She doesn't like school at all, but she's extremely smart, very bright. And you just remember those days when you drop them off and well, for her, she would just look at me like, where in the world do you think you're going? And I would be leaving the daycare crying. And she was the hardest one out of the two to have to leave the daycare and then have to go to work. I struggled with that a lot, a lot. It really affected me. And to see her graduate and walk across that line and finally get on a plane, head back to California to start her life, it's just amazing. And so I remember when I was first married and we would talk to other people who had kids, and me being pregnant, everyone has advice, everyone has something to say. But I always listened to what the men had to say, because when you're a mom, you're in it, and you're the one. And don't get me wrong, I'm sure there's dads out there who do the work. So please do not come at me like, what are you saying? All the women do this. It's very gender, blah, blah, blah. I understand that. But coming up, when I was coming up, the women did a lot of the work. And so I would always listen to what the men would have to say, because they were the ones leaving the house, working, or not seeing their kid all day and then coming back, and they looked like they had grown by 2 years. And I remember one gentleman telling me that when your baby gets here, make sure that you enjoy every year of their lives and be in the moment, because it goes by so fast. And I believe that I did that up until maybe they were like 12, 13, 14, because things got a little rough around the house. And I feel like I missed those years a little bit because I was just trying to move forward on my own. And it was amazing to see how much work was put into these girls before that happened, because even though it was a rough time for all of us, they were able to navigate in the world in a way where they kept their heads up, they stayed positive as much as they could, and I tried to communicate with them as much as I could communicate with them. And time goes by so fast. To know that I have 20-something-year-old daughters when it felt like yesterday they were 13 and 17, they were 3 and 8. It's just amazing to see where they started and where they are now. And I already miss them. When I'm with them, I'm so happy. And when I know it's time to leave, I'm sad, because I know how fast those years have gone by. And I pray that I can be around to see them really get into different aspects of their lives and build their community and build their families. And so it's exciting times. And I know that there's a lot of moms out there who, I have friends out there who their kid lives are not what they thought they would be. But you know what? The way I see it is, if we continue to show up as parents and show love, they will figure it out. If we show them support and we let them know that we're behind them, they will figure it out. And so when it comes to time, just enjoy the time you have with your kids and be in the moment. Put our phones down and listen to them and talk to them, and try and do it without judgment. That's the hard part, because if you've been raised a certain way and your kids see things a little bit differently and they're trying to tell you that they see it differently, it's really hard to swallow when you as a person, as a parent, only know one way. And I've had to learn that. I remember there was a conversation that we all went to lunch, me and the girls went to lunch, and we were having a conversation about doing something different with their lives that I didn't expect them to do. And I think it had to do with music. And I was just like, wait, what? What are you talking about? And it took the youngest girl to tell me, Mom, just listen to what she has to say. And it was hard to comprehend what my oldest one was trying to tell me. But once I sat back and really listened to her and understood what she wanted to do and let her know that I supported her, she figured it out. And she's running professionally, she's making her music. There are still things about life that are very difficult and hard. We're still human. And I just try to be there for her and listen and do what I can when I can. And so that's all that they're asking for. They're not wanting me to do anything for them. They got themselves. So I just have to sit back and be their cheerleader. So if there's anything that you learn as a young mom, as a mom with teenagers, I know there are days where you just want to pull out your hair and scream and cry and be like, and just basically run away, right? But I'm telling you to hang in there, and time will take care of everything, but also time goes by really fast. And so it's really important for you to be the support, be the rock, be their foundation, and let them be whoever they are at that time. And you might feel like you're getting dragged through the mud or things are really hard, but what it is that you are their safety net and they feel safe enough around you to express who they are, what they're thinking, and how they're thinking it. So if there's anything that I could advise is just appreciate the time that you have with them because time is no joke and it doesn't stop for anyone. Next, I want to talk about community. It does take a community to help you raise your kids. And I know that as I was growing up, I had family around. And when my daughters were growing up, we were in California and my family was in Missouri. So we didn't have a lot of family around us. We were lucky enough to have my mom come out or family members come out and help us from time to time if we had to go out of town or if we had things to do, if we just needed a break. We were very lucky with that. But for the most part, we had to really depend on community. And for me, especially once I started working full time and having to do a lot of things on my own, I had to really focus on the people who were around my girls because I had to make sure that they were going to be safe and they weren't going to get hurt. But it's been really important for me to make sure that the people around them are kind to them and they show them respect like they would show their own kids and that they were really genuinely there to help. And luckily, my girls are really good at finding community and having people in their lives that are really there to support them. And I know at one point when Mariana had to start traveling and I couldn't always be there with her, luckily she grew up with the girls that she was traveling with and the parents stepped up and they stepped in and they helped out and we figured it out and we budgeted money and we figured out how to get her to and from. And it turned out to be once I saw that she was safe and she was with good people, I turned it into a lesson. And for some reason, I just felt like once Mariana was out in the world and traveling, that she was going to love it because I love traveling. And we turned it into a lesson. So I taught her how to pack. I taught her how to behave in a airport, how to dress when you go to an airport, what to do when you're around other people and I'm not there. And she is like one of the best travelers I've ever seen in my life. She knows how to plan things out. She knows how to obviously pack. She knows she's gotten her passport. She's gotten her global entry card. She knows how to do it all. And I'm really proud of the way that she's navigated. And then with Nia, my oldest one, with her job, she's traveling everywhere. And they're really worldly young women. And I just decided that the things that I was scared of, I had to let go. Again, letting go of that control and then making it a lesson and teaching them how to navigate in the world because that's what our job is to do, right? But I also made it an experience, and I wanted her to be excited when she left. I tried my best not to make it as stressful and as uptight, so it was great. She was able to freely go, be with her friends. She had great parents around her, and if anything happened, they would come and report it back to me, so it was a very good time for her. Community is very important. There were times where I had to let go and let people take them to school. And I didn't like that because that was my time with my girls, and so after a while, I got to the point where I would take them to school and pick other kids up with my kids, and then they would have people drop them off at home, so that was great, and I think back now, and it was just such a great time, like, getting to know the people in my neighborhood, getting to know the women who were going through the same thing I was going through and watching them navigate and learning from them. And listening to mothers that had older kids and taking advice from them. It was great being in those conversations because I felt like I was so much more prepared. Once my girls got a certain age, I still made mistakes and things weren't perfect, but when I listened to other parents, I could sit there and decide, "Oh, okay, I could totally do that. I can see how that worked." And then there were other times I'm like, "Nope, not doing that. I'm gonna change that up and do it a little bit differently." But it was a great learning experience for me as a young mom, and being able to navigate once they got older, it was great. And then conversations and listening. The one thing I've learned over the years as well is that our kids are a mirror of the things that we do. Because from the time they're little young toddlers until they're like young adults, they watch everything that we do. They watch how we communicate with people. They watch how we treat other people, how we feel when people treat us, how we act when something happens to us. And they're soaking all that in and they're seeing that. And they're deciding if they want to be that same type of person, if they're going to put up with the things that we put up with. And as they get older and they start communicating and learning who they are, man, those are when the arguments start. That's when hard conversations begin. That's when we're trying to take our control, and it's our control is more we're just trying to keep our kids safe from what's going on in the world. But what I've learned over the years is that truly listening to them, and even if I have to sit back and let it marinate for a little bit, a day or two, and then coming back to that conversation is so beneficial because they have they're a different generation and they see things a lot differently than we do. Unless you're a young mom and you're growing up with your kids, it's just when you're older and you've been raised a certain way and then they're telling you, "No, that's not gonna work for me," it's a really hard pill to swallow. So, what I've learned is I've had to sit back and listen. I've had to have very hard conversations. I've had to let go of a lot of things. And yeah, I didn't always agree with a lot of things that they've done. And they've had to learn on their own. And it's interesting, I'm watching this series on Netflix called Forever, and there's a part in the series where the dad and the mom are arguing about the older son being a man and how the mom always wants him to be a man, but then when it comes time for him to do manly things, she doesn't want him to do it because all she can see is her little boy through, I know what it is. All is your kid as a baby, and you don't want them to adult too fast. And the dad argued back with her, like, let him be an adult. Let him be an adult. You want him to be a man, let him be a man and do man things. And so I would say in the past 3 years, I've had to really learn how to let my women do women things and figure it out on their own. So those hard conversations, listening to your kid if they're 2 or if they're 20, it can be hard, it can be cute, it can be fun, it can be difficult, but you gotta listen to them because you never know what you're gonna learn. And if you're quiet enough and you let them talk and let them be who they are, you're gonna learn a lot from them. Not only from them, but who they are and what type of person they are. And it's really important to ask them, like, hey, do you want me to comment on what you're saying? You would just want me to listen. Like, you have to be that type of parent. And there's going to be times where it's going to be really hard. I've had some really hard conversations to the point where, like, it's gut wrenching. But I've had to let it sit with me, and I've had to let it marinate, and I've had to let things go. Because if I can't control it, I can't control it. It's not easy, but it's possible. So remember, you are a mirror and they will throw stuff back at you. And you have to listen to them because they will show you your faults. And if you have a problem seeing your own faults, your kids will let you know that too. And you have to listen to them because if it's a fault that's affecting other people, that's a way for you to improve as a person as well. And they're not always right. Kids from, like I said, 2 to 20 can still be a little off. They don't know everything, but they can definitely teach you something and then you them, if that makes any sense. Now, as I said before, there's a new worry. Now that she's out of school and on her way to California, it's going to be very difficult to watch her navigate. She's got to find herself an apartment. She's got to figure out the lay of the land. She's going to have to decide who's going to be in her community. I really hope that someone gets something out of this short podcast. I just wanted to at least get a podcast out this week to all the parents out there. If I can say anything, you're doing a great job. Hang in there. Those days when that baby's crying, the preteen is screaming at you, the toddlers up until 8 years old are just they're like climbing the wall. Hang in there. It's tough, but it's not supposed to be easy raising a human being. Especially in this world, be their foundation, show them what kindness and love is, and show them what support is. Let them understand what right and wrong is. That is our job. And I'm telling you, if you just stay consistent and do the best you can, whether you are a person who has all the resources in the world or you have very little resources in the world, it doesn't matter. You can raise good kids. You can raise good kids. Just be kind to yourself, be kind to others, because they're watching us. And until next time, to all the parents, keep rising. Hang in there. It's going to be all right.
Hey, thanks for tuning in. Remember, this podcast is meant for both education and entertainment purposes only. I am not a licensed therapist, so it's crucial to consult your physician, psychotherapist, or qualified health professionals for personalized advice. Until next time, take care. If you're enjoying this podcast, I would like to ask you to please subscribe, like, and share. That's what they told me to do at the end of this podcast. So could you hook me up? Thanks. Bye.
Hey, it's your girl Nicole from the Risers Hub and the RisersHub.com. Are you ready to rise and succeed? Download the Risers Hub free goal setting workbook, your quick start guide to goal mapping, habit tracking, and letting go of what's holding you back. It's simple, powerful, and perfect for anyone ready to achieve their goals. Join our growing wellness community and start your wellness journey today. Go to therisershub.com or click the link in my bio, enter your email, and download your free ebook. As always, and in the meantime, let's keep rising.